They don't see me. Not really. Maybe a glance, a passing look, eyes that skate over me like I'm furniture someone forgot to move. I sit in this cold armchair, worn down at the arms, in a house that still remembers the man I used to be, even if no one else does. 72 years old. That's what the world sees. An old man, tucked away in a half-forgotten neighborhood, in a house that's too big for one. My children, oh, they're successful. Polished smiles and private school tuition, handshakes with men in suits whose names I once gave them access to. They send Christmas cards now, sometimes. Call on birthdays, well, their assistants do. They think I don't notice. My granddaughter visits once a month. She brings her son. He calls me a grandpa like it's a role in a school play. He scrolls on his phone while I ask about school, sports, life. I'm lucky if I get a shrug. The silence hurts more than the words ever could. In the grocery store, the cashier talks to me like I'm 5. Do you need help with your bags, sir? Sir. As if respect is a costume they put on before handing me coins. In the clinic, the nurse looks over me and speaks to the intern like I'm already dead. Cognitive declines probably started, she said last month, thinking I couldn't hear. Or wouldn't understand. They are wrong. I sit here every evening. Same chair. Same tea, slightly too bitter. Same window, fogged from the inside. My television stays on, muted. I prefer it that way, I've had enough lies for one lifetime. I watch the world in silence now, studying it the way a hunter watches a field. Slow. Intentional. Forget the noise. Noise is how they miss you coming. Every night, I write in a black leather notebook. Small print. Clean lines. I record names. Dates. Interactions. A smile that didn't reach the eyes. A comment too cruel to be accidental. A favor withheld. People think the mind fades with age. Not mine. Mine has sharpened, like a blade put away for too long and now honed in the dark. There's a fire inside me. It's not a bonfire. It's coal. Hot, compressed, endless. They think I'm fading. But I'm waiting. There's a difference. They see a weak old man. But they don't know what I remember. What I built. What I survived. They don't know who I was. And worse, they don't care. They've made peace with the idea that I'm no longer relevant. That time has stripped me of my use. That's their mistake. The most dangerous man in the room is the one who's already been forgotten. Because he can move without being seen. He can strike without being heard. I'm not angry. Not yet. But the silence is shifting. Growing teeth. And soon, it will bite. I wasn't always a ghost. There was a time when rooms fell silent when I entered. When my voice could shift the direction of a board meeting or calm a panicking team in the middle of a financial firestorm. They used to call me the Iron Spine. Not because I backed orders, but because I didn't bend. Ever. I built my business from nothing. From a desk in a leaky garage and a rotary phone that clicked when you dialed. I remember the long nights. Coffee gone cold. My wife asleep upstairs. The weight of bills like bricks in my chest. But I carried it all. I didn't have a choice. My family didn't need promises, they needed action. And I delivered. In the 90s, when the economy cracked and my competitors went under, I held the line. I mortgaged our home to keep my employees paid. I skipped meals so my kids could have what they needed for school. I stood in front of banks, partners, even criminals, and I never looked down. I knew what I was fighting for. And I remember the betrayals too. My oldest friend and partner, Serge, sold our proprietary software to a competitor behind my back. Smiled while he did it. I didn't scream. I didn't sue. I bought the competitor within 2 years, fired him in front of the same people he tried to impress, and watched his career collapse under the weight of his own short-sightedness. I played the long game. I always did. I remember helping my son through college. Ivy League. The tuition nearly killed us, but I paid every cent. I helped him buy his first home. Gave him his first investor connections. And now? He doesn't answer when I call. That's the part that sticks. Not the struggle. Not the fight. The forgetting. They've rewritten the story. Left me out of it. Now they smile at each other over brunch, thinking their lives are self-made. As if the empire they walk on wasn't carved out by my bloody hands. No one asks me anymore, "What do you think, Dad?" or "How would you handle this, Jody?" Because they've already decided I don't matter. That I'm just an old man sitting in a dusty chair, waiting for the end. But I'm not done. I never was. They think time made me soft. Time didn't soften me. It forged me. Now I sit quietly, and remember not just who I was, but what I'm still capable of. Power doesn't disappear. It waits. It hibernates beneath the bones and the wrinkles. And when it wakes, it's sharper than ever. They forgot who I am. But I remember everything. Pain doesn't come with a scream. Not the kind I know. It comes in fragments. In moments so small the world doesn't even notice them, like 1,000 paper cuts no one sees, but you bleed all the same. I called my son last week. Not for help. Just to hear his voice. The phone rang 7 times before voicemail. I tried again the next day. Straight to missed call. No text back. Not even the courtesy of silence anymore, just absence. 2 days ago, I asked my grandson if he could help me move some boxes from the attic. Just 2. Light ones. He laughed. "Can't your nurse do that?" "I don't have a nurse." I told him that. He didn't even look up from his screen. Yesterday I dropped my grocery bag outside the corner store. Apples rolled across the sidewalk like spilled marbles. No one stopped. No one bent down. One man even stepped over me like I was part of the pavement. My hip still aches from where I knelt. And in the clinic last month, I overheard the doctor whisper to the nurse outside the curtain, "He's alone, poor guy. Doesn't process much anymore." Then they came in with that smile, the one soaked in pity and distance. They spoke slowly. Too slowly. Like my ears were broken, not their empathy. But I heard them. I remember every word. I've started writing them down. Not out of spite, but precision. Name. Date. Detail. A record of every moment they made me feel invisible. Every eye that glanced through me. Every smirk. Every lie wrapped in a fake smile. And the worst part. They don't mean to be cruel. They think this is kindness. A pat on the head. A soft goodbye. The world doesn't like old men who used to be gods. They'd rather tuck us away, tie our power in a shawl, and pretend we were never anything but this, fragile and forgettable. But I remember who I am. I'm not bitter. Bitterness is a flavor. This is something else. Something heavier. Something focused. Something that watches, waits, and sharpens. They think I'm unraveling. But they don't see what's truly happening. I'm gathering. Gathering moments. Gathering memories. Gathering truth. And when the time comes, I will not yell. I will not beg. I will act. It happened on a Tuesday. Gray sky. Light wind. My hands shook a little more than usual. I had gone to the market, same one where they all ignore me. My knees hurt, so I didn't walk fast. My bag tore open halfway across the street. Cans rolled into the gutter. A bottle shattered. People laughed. Not loud. Not cruel. Just careless. Detached. Someone muttered, "Shouldn't be out alone at that age." That's when I heard it. The word. The one that broke whatever was left of the chain holding me back. Useless. It hit me like a switchblade to the chest. I stood there, broken bag in hand, heart pounding in the silence of humiliation. No one helped. Again. I didn't cry. I didn't even blink. I walked home slower than ever before. Not because I was weak, but because something inside me had changed, and I needed time to feel it settle. It wasn't rage. Rage is messy. Loud. This was something else. Cold. Focused. Ancient. I stepped inside. Locked the door. Went to the study. There's a safe behind the bookshelf. They forgot about that. Everyone did. I spun the combination with steady fingers. It clicked open with a sound I hadn't heard in over 20 years. Inside, a rusted phone. The kind without GPS. A black notebook sealed in plastic. And files, old, yellowed, but organized. Names. Contacts. Secrets. People think power disappears with age. It doesn't. It just gets quieter. I powered on the phone. No SIM card, of course. It was never meant to make calls. It was a key. A map. A signal. It still worked. I flipped open the notebook. Page 1, debt owed. Page 2, favors held. I smiled. For the first time in years. I had saved lives in my time. Pulled people from bankruptcy. Covered scandals. Paid hush money. Protected reputations. Made men rich and kept them quiet. They forgot. But I kept records. I still know which son of a politician lied about that girl in '98. I know which CEO buried the audit. I know whose foundation is a front. These are not accusations. They are truths. And the game they thought I left, I built it. They think I'm a relic. No. I'm the architect. And I'm rebuilding the board. Piece by piece. One call. One letter. One anonymous leak. I don't need violence. I need silence. And shadows. Because the most terrifying revenge is the one no one sees coming. You won't find my fingerprints. Not on the leaked emails. Not on the banner phone messages that set off the audit. Not on the envelope that arrived at my son's office, unsigned, with one damning document inside. They won't trace it to me. Because I don't exist. Not to them. And that's the power. My son was fired 3 weeks ago. Ethical inconsistencies, they said. His company didn't know the anonymous tip came from an account tied to an offshore entity I once helped build for a former client. That man owed me. He didn't forget. My grandson lost his brand deal this week. A quiet campaign, screenshots, deleted tweets, a carefully crafted push. No lies. Just truth, curated and delivered to the right inboxes at the right time. It was easy. Influence is currency, and I still own a few votes full of it. The woman from the clinic. She's under review now. Someone leaked a recording of her mocking an elderly patient. The audio was found in a digital folder during a systems upgrade. I sent flowers to the hospital board, anonymously, of course. These are not accidents. These are equations. Actions and consequences. I don't destroy lives. I unmask them. I hold up a mirror, and let the reflection do the rest. I watch them unravel, and I feel, not joy. Joy is too small. What I feel is restoration. A return to balance. They thought I was too old to matter, too weak to fight back. But I don't fight. I design. In the silence of my living room, the calls have started. My daughter left a voicemail, "Dad, can we talk?" No. My son came to the house. Knocked. Waited. I didn't answer. Let him sit with the silence he gave me for years. The news plays in the background now. I don't watch it. I read their faces. The tension. The scrambling. The quiet panic of people losing their footing. They feel it. They know something's coming. They just don't know it's me. My notebook is almost full. So many names. So many details. But there's no anger in these pages. Only order. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. They are wrong. Revenge is a system. And I am its architect. The house is quiet tonight. Not the lonely quiet, the chosen kind. The kind that wraps itself around you like a cloak instead of a shroud. I sit in my chair, the same one everyone mistook for a throne of decay. Funny, how wrong they were. This chair has witnessed more strategy, more calculation, more truth than any boardroom I ever led. They are coming today. My children. My grandchildren. Not because of love. Not because of duty. Because the world around them has shifted, and their roots are trembling. They feel the consequences crawling up their ankles like cold water. They don't know the source. They'll never know. But they sense the center. And the center is here. A knock on the door. Soft. Hesitant. My son first. His voice cracks when he says my name. Not Dad. Not Father. Just Jody. As if he's afraid of the word he abandoned. My daughter stands behind him, arms folded, eyes red from the kind of fear money can't silence. My grandchildren hover like unsure shadows, suddenly aware of the man they never really looked at. I open the door. I don't say a word. They step inside, heads bowed. They sit. They wait. Silence stretches through the room like a wire pulled tight. They think I'm deciding whether to forgive them. But forgiveness was never the point. I look at each of them slowly, and for the first time, they can't look away. My grandson, the one who laughed at me months ago, stares at the floor. My son's jaw trembles. My daughter wipes her cheek. They feel it. Presence. Authority. Truth. Not the old man they dismissed. But the man I always was, the one they chose not to see. I don't lecture them. I don't raise my voice. They want answers. They want comfort. They want a story that makes them the victims of circumstance. They want a version of events where I absolve them so they can sleep tonight. I offer none of that. Instead, I take my notebook, the black one, and place it gently on the table. They look at it like it's a bomb. In a way, it is. I open it to the last page. And write. Strength isn't loud. Age isn't weakness. The world forgets its pillars. Until they shake. I close the book. Stand. Walk past them. I don't need applause. I don't need gratitude. What I needed was balance. And balance has been restored. As I reach the doorway, I feel their eyes on my back, not out of pity, not out of obligation, but out of recognition. For the first time in years, they see me. Not forgiven. Not forgotten. Simply undeniable. Old age is not a fading. It is an awakening. A stage of power everyone fears. Because it sees everything. And forgets nothing.
Subscribe and like this video, more interesting revenge stories of elderly people coming soon.